NFL's 100th season, Chris Berman has been counting down the top 50 plays in NFL history on Monday Night Countdown. Of course, hosting NFL Primetime on ESPN+. Part of the panel to determine the 100 all-time team. And now bringing fans the fastest 3 minutes during Monday Night Football halftime. Chris Berman joining us on the program. Good morning, Swa. How are you?
Hi, Dan. Good to be with you again. It was great of you to come back during our anniversary there on our 40 years old, and I didn't know that either of us were that old, but I guess shockingly it's true. So happy holidays.
Now, when we were walking outside that day after we had our town hall at ESPN, did you have any idea? Because you were with Bob Lee, and did you have any idea that I was doing SportsCenter that night?
No, and you never told me, as usual. You're witness protection program. No, I didn't know about it till I think the next morning. Like, they did what?
I was under orders that I wasn't allowed to tell anybody.
Well, I tell you what, you're coachable. It took 40 years. You're coachable.
Well, didn't you have a string where you did at least one SportsCenter?
I did. I was trying to catch DiMaggio, but I came up short. I did. I always, even long after I did them as a regular basis or even semi-regular, once we got baseball and you and Keith were in the 90s, I mean, I wasn't on every night like I was in the 80s, which was forever. But, I tried to come back in May and do one or two just to do it and try to pick a good weekend. The players' golf was usually one of the weekends, in May, and it was good. It was good to go do it. And then you've talked about it. How did you feel looking back at it now? I'm sure you're glad I think you're glad you did it, right? I think so.
I wasn't glad that I agreed to it, and then I'm glad that I did it, because you know how this is, Chris, that the older you get, the better you were. And, our legacy or legend or whatever you want to call it, we weren't that good. We were there at the right time, and we had something that, we made something interesting and different. But then to go back, and I just worry that people go, I don't get it. What's the big deal about these guys? That was what I was worried about. It was just, it was nice, though, to kind of put a period at the end of my SportsCenter career and go back, do one more show with Keith and have a little bit of fun. And, it's like you're back on primetime, with Tommy.
Well, I mean, not to get to me here on that yet, although sitting with Tommy is just, I'm beaming every Sunday night, is you were that good, you guys. You were every night, and people, I don't want to use the word counted on, because none of us are counted on, but if they're tuning in, give me some stuff, entertain me a little bit, tell me what's going on. I mean, you were counted on in that way. So, and look, and people don't get it. If I worried about quoting songs from my era, well, they might not get it. What am I going to quote now if you really want to go there? So, look, you brought smiles to a lot of people's faces, and you did it again. And maybe that's what we're doing with primetime, although that's a football vehicle on Sunday nights and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all day and all night on ESPN Plus, I still believe, and you probably do too, that even though you can, what happened in the Tampa-Atlanta game? Let me get it on my phone. Well, they're the three plays. I still feel that people want a meal every now and then. And in pro football, I believe that's true. And so for 45 minutes, we're providing a meal, if you will, the full meal of the day. And I don't think those times have come and gone. Do you, Dan?
No, I think what you're finding is there's a group of people in a large group that grew up with us, and they're probably in their 50s or 60s. But then there's also a younger generation that is kind of seeing or remembering or being told about, and then they reminisce. It feels like anything that's old becomes new again, if that makes sense. So, I mean, look, we were lucky because back then you tuned into SportsCenter because you didn't know the end result. You might have known the score, but you didn't see the highlights anywhere. So we had that audience that came into us, and we were coming off a Big East game, or it'd be a football game or a baseball game on Sunday night, and we had that great luxury. But when you have that audience, this is what I tell students who are in my sportscasting school. If you get the audience, keep the audience. Like that you can get them. How long do you keep them really tells, them and yourself how good you are at what you're doing. And we were able to keep those people for, a prolonged period of time.
Longer than we deserve to, right? But as you say, everything is coming back. Are you wearing bell bottoms today? I'm not sure.
I remember when we wore shorts on SportsCenter.
Oh, yeah.
And then one of the camera angles was to the side. And then somebody screwed it up because they showed somebody's legs, and then because management didn't know. We would come in on the weekend, we'd wear shorts with the, sneakers. And then somebody, got a side angle, and then that ruined it for everybody. And then we had to wear the, damn suits all the time.
Yeah, I know. That was fun. Shorts cutoffs. And in the 80s, the shorts were shorter, when I did it. And it was to crack up the camera people and make them loose and have a good time before. Yeah, they took the wide shot then, and then I think everybody behaved until you guys, proving that we were all the same. We poked the bear until the bear bit, right? So those were the days, and of course we could get away with shorts then too. I wouldn't want to try it now.
Explain the top plays, the idea for that, and any surprises on that list.
Well, here's the deal. So I'm doing it for TV, right? This is not a disclaimer, but it's rather than looking at a list, which when we get all said and done, and I don't want to get into it because there's some still things left. I think we've done through 12 now. We're doing 3 a week on Monday Night Countdown. And, oh, by the way, 11, 10, 9, number 11, you won't remember. All the others in the top 20, you go, okay, yeah, of course that's in there. The 11 will be, I wanted to get one late that was a great play. I would have never thought of it. But, and then the last, we only have 16 Monday night games, so I think it's the 23rd. We do 5 through 1. And then Christmas Eve, Dan, 5 o'clock, we put them all together for an hour.
Oh, good.
And then that'll run a few times during the next week or 10 days.
Have you ever thought about the play that gets lost because it set up something?
Yes. That's a good question. And so because I'm doing it for TV, right, there's sometimes I show, I'm trying to think, okay, I'll give you an example because this is running. I don't remember what number it is already. So Julian Edelman's catch against Atlanta a few years ago in the Super Bowl, which you remember, right? But that never would have happened. Well, that might have, but just a few minutes earlier, Julio Jones had a ridiculous one, right?
Yep.
Now, my play selection, if you really want to make a list, is Edelman's catch. But it gave me an opportunity because, again, you're watching this on TV, and if it's just, here's a list of 50, and we're just showing 50 plays. No. We have a way to show 100, if you will, by showing that play. And then despite that, Edelman still made this catch, and the Patriots won the Super Bowl. So, yes, that's a very good question. And TV allows me to veer a little that if you're just printing a list, you'll see.
Yeah, and Julio Jones, that's lost in history on one of the greatest catches. It could have turned out to be one of the greatest catches in Super Bowl history because you would have beaten the Patriots. But it's kind of lost there. It's off to the side because Edelman's catch and what that meant because the Patriots won the game. But if Atlanta had won, that Julio Jones catch, which was unbelievable in the moment.
Yep. Well, here's the thing that I will say, too, and it was fun doing it. For example, I went back and looked at Fran Tarkenton plays, right? Mm-hmm. And, of course, I'm working with a lot of younger folks that, yeah, he threw for a lot of yards. Whoa. No, Fran Tarkenton was a little different, okay? And you find one when he runs 30 yards backwards and the play is really 15 seconds before he releases the ball, and then it's a touchdown. But in looking, I found a few more kind of like that. And I went, all right, so here's the play. And I think, Fran, that was just recently. It was a great combination. It was a Hail Mary. It was Fran Tarkenton and Brett Favre. So, I mean, if you want entertainment for 3, quote, plays, there they are. But and that was in the teens. I don't remember the exact numbers, not in front of me. But I felt that after we showed that play, and here's another one, just so you know it wasn't a fluke. And I found out, you know what is another one, Dan, going back, again, now Fran Tarkenton, you and I remember, the early John Mackey, I mean, we remember, but we didn't see. So I found one when he just clobbered, right? And then I found several more. Why don't we show, since we have the time, here's the play, and then I'm going to throw in this one as well. And by the way, for Jim Brown, there were many. Like, it were guys just obliterated, right? So, again, for TV, it's a little different. It was a fun exercise. Mark Franklin behind the scenes did a great job, as always, for me. And
out of all of these plays, the one game that you wish you would have gone to have witnessed this in person, is there one that stands out?
Of the plays, see. Now you get interesting because, so I've been to 30-plus Super Bowls, so I'll eliminate those. I've seen a lot of those. Do we wish that we were, well, not really at the Ice Bowl, right? But do we wish, personally, I was at Super Bowl III when the Jets, but there's no play from that. You follow, Dan? So sometimes one of the most important games is Super Bowl III. Well, there's no real, in the top 50, no play from that.
Yeah, see, to me, it's Franco Harris.
Life I would have been there, although I was at so many of Namath's games.
It's the Immaculate Reception for me.
Well,
because that led to them. They had to get through Oakland to get to the Super Bowl.
Well, what people forget about that, Dan, and is they did not win the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
That was the start of the Steelers. They lost to Miami, who was undefeated. That was 72.
Yeah.
And by the way, they used to have a rotation. Talk about crazy. That championship game was in Pittsburgh, even though Miami was 14-0, which is that's bizarre, isn't it? Like, well, it's the Central. I think, wasn't it the AFC Central?
I think so.
So it's their turn. What? We're 14-0. Well, Miami won anyway, and the rest is history. But look, the Immaculate Reception. I like its chances to be pretty late in the countdown.
You can see Chris, a variety of vehicles here. NFL Primetime co-host and the NFL 100 all-time team, the top plays as well. It's great to visit with you. Please tell Tommy I said hello, Chris, and hopefully we'll cross paths at the Super Bowl.
All right, Dan. Thanks for wedging me in. We're having a blast doing primetime. I hope people appreciate it as much as we like doing it. And you were just there with Keith, so you get it.
Thank you, Chris. It's
See you, Dan.
Chris Berman.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.